talk to us a little bit about the difference between how women and men experience midlife and how does that affect our relationships?
Yeah, women are socialized as girls to emote and to tell secrets with their friends and to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Boys, on the other hand, on average, again, these are all vast generalizations, are taught to be strong. Big boys don't cry. As such, as boys become men, they find that they need to posture a little bit. And the friendships they have are often not eye-to-eye friendships. They're shoulder-to-shoulder friendships.
I see.
You go hiking with a friend. You go biking with a friend. You go watch a sports game with a friend.
Yeah.
But eye-to-eye friendships are vulnerable.
Yes.
And so the idea as we get older of learning how to be vulnerable is really difficult for a lot of men. So as you go through your 20s and your 30s, the other thing that's happening is we're getting really busy. We're accumulating friends, we're accumulating obligations, responsibilities, we're dating people, we're getting married, we're having children, we're accumulating stuff. We don't have time for friendships. Women are, technically speaking, women are better at multitasking.
Okay.
And one of the things they multitask is friendships. Men, on the other hand, are going out and being a provider and their career, and maybe they have, a family, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of men in their 40s, especially mid to later 40s, they realize that their friendship muscle is atrophied. And their ability to understand that they don't know how to be vulnerable makes it such that they know they want friends. They don't want to admit to being the L word, lonely.
Yeah.
But they don't know what to do about it.
And I guarantee a lot of people listening right now that are head nodding, unfortunately. So
the women are head nodding about their husband.
Yeah.
And the men are, and one of the funny things about MEA is I get to see couples a lot. And for a lot of women, they do not want their husband to retire.
Yes.
Because what they say is, my husband has no friends other than his work friends.
Yeah.
And so when he retires, he's not going to have his work friends.
Yeah.
And so he's going to rely on me. And I have a ton of friends. And so we really, Jeff Hamui, one of my co-founders of MEA, talks about friendship as a practice.
Okay.
And so if we think about golf, we practice golf, you practice yoga, you practice a lot of things.
Okay.
Why don't we practice friendship?
Oh, this is great. Tell me how you do it.
So when you've practiced friendship, you're more intentional about getting better at being a friend.
Okay.
So as opposed to just saying, well, friends are nice to have, but I don't have to work at it.
Yes.
But to be intentional about friendships is getting clear, what am I looking for from a friend?
Okay.
And, how could I be a better friend to someone else? How could I text someone just out of the blue and say, I was just thinking about you and I just wanted you to know it.
Yeah.
I like you.
Yeah. Simple practice.
So Alan Mutuar was one of my best friends growing up. High school, we played water polo together. He ultimately went to the Olympics. He's a much better water polo player than me. And guess what? Alan went off to Stanford with me. We played water polo my first year, and then he kept playing. And he became a pre-med. I became business. We went our separate ways. We're in different fraternities. I came out as a gay man. He was like Don Juan with the women. And we sort of lost touch.
Yeah.
But 25, 30 years later, with friendship as a practice as my intention, I wrote him on Facebook. We were Facebook friends, but I hadn't seen him in a long time. And I said, you know what? You were my best friend. And I didn't say I love you to him at that point. I did say it to him later, in terms of just as a friend.
Yeah.
And I said, I'd like to be in your life again. Now, it took a little bit of boldness.
That's bold and vulnerable.
And courageousness, especially, hey, straight dude, I'm a gay dude, but my God, he immediately wrote me back and said, this is great. I'm so glad you wrote me. Let's hang out. And as it turns out, my partner's Israeli and Jewish. His wife is Jewish, and they loved each other. And so the four of us have become close again. But it took an intentionality.
Yeah. And a little bit of initiative.
An initiative for sure. And a little courage because he might have just said hey, he might not have responded.
But what you had nothing to lose in that regard. Yeah.
Exactly. So men who are listening to this,
this
please.
is so important. I mean, this might be the most important thing we're talking about.
Please be open to taking the step.
Yeah.
Think of friendship as a practice.
Yeah.
Just like golf.
Yeah.
You got to get better at it because the number one pathway, the number one variable for living a longer, healthier, happier life is how invested are we in midlife and beyond in our social connections.
Wow.